Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, and indeed this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's opening up this week. Saw 10 arrives. Saw 10 is here, guys. I saw it last night, and it's good. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. Plus, The Creator is opening up today as well, and I'm going to go see that early this afternoon, so pay attention to that. Okay, so what is this? Killers of the Flower Moon? Well, it's supposed to be Moon, but you know, stuff happens. Lord of the Flies remake. Fascinating. Some Netflix stories that we're going to be talking about. Somebody's getting sued on Netflix. Oh, that's not good. But yeah, let's start off today's show by talking about Saw 10. And I'll just get ready for my review here, because Saw 10 gets Fresh Franchise's best reviews, first fresh Rotten Tomatoes score. Cool. Now I don't know what the score is just yet because I haven't looked at it, but fresh means that it's good, and it was surprisingly good. So let me set up for my review here. It won't take that long, guys. Don't worry. Oop, turn off the YouTube chat. We'll turn on the chat when we're done my formal review here. Okay. And then this part will be cut out and put up on the channel later. I just want to do the review first before we do the opening this weekend segment, so that I don't get spoiled with what the tomato score is, because I haven't looked at it yet. I mean, come on, I was out till like 12:30 last night, and then I just got out of bed. So here we go. Saw 10 is out now, guys, and it's worth seeing if you are a fan of the Saw movies. I like this movie quite a bit. Now, here's what you need to know about Saw 10. It is a prequel. It happens between Saw 1 and 2. But you don't need to watch any other installment of the Saw franchise, because it is a self-contained story all about John Kramer trying to deal with his cancer in his brain. So, a sick and desperate John travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes a medical cure for his cancer, but he discovers that the entire operation there is a scam, and yeah, those people who tried to scam him, they learn their lessons that you don't mess around with John Kramer. And the movie opens up with John Kramer dealing with his cancer, going to treatments and stuff, and it's all basically about him. And you got to give it to Tobin Bell in this one. Acting wise, you didn't think that he would be able to come back to do this, and it fits in perfectly. It does. You begin to feel for him almost, like the Jigsaw Killer. Really, you're feeling for him. Like, I know that there's supposed to be like that weird way that he does things, like he teaches people's shortcomings, right? He shows you a lesson of where you erred in putting you in the big traps and stuff. The movie has a lot of gore in it, so if you're worried about it being a little bit different in the way that it unfolds, and it's, well, this isn't like a Saw movie, I want to see people get tortured and that's it. No, the movie actually has a bit of an emotional backbone to it, oddly enough. And I'm saying that about a Saw movie. Wow. Yeah. Shawnee Smith is back in this as Amanda. She's also really good in this. And then this newcomer, Sinove Makodi Lund, who could be like Rebecca Ferguson's cousin or something. When I first saw her, I was like, wait, is that Rebecca Ferguson? No, they got the same kind of profile. You can see that there a little bit, right? Yeah, right there you can see a little bit of Rebecca Ferguson. But she's in this as the villain, and she's also really good. And there's a few twists and turns with it that I think will shock some people. And that's cool. That's the mark of a good movie. So if I'm going to start ranking this, I got to talk about the acting first, right? I got to talk about acting, directing, and story out of a possible 3 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1 point possible, and then watchability is also about 2. So because of the 2 performances from Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith and the villain, I got to give acting a full 2 points for a Saw movie. Wow. Yes. Directing. Okay. The gore was there. It is very bloody. They do some surgical procedures and stuff like this, and there's people sawing through their flesh, and all of that stuff was handled very well. But the story was an interesting premise. I'm going to dock the story 1 point because I think that perhaps, and I don't know this right now, this is my just first viewing experience, but maybe it'll hold up better on repeat viewings, that maybe things could have been tightened just a little bit. It's nowhere near perfect or anything like that. Like there are some few issues in there that I think people could nitpick to the point where, oh yeah, that doesn't merit a full 2 points, James. What are you talking about? But the execution of it, the directing of it, I think was handled fairly competently, and I'm going to give that a 1.5. Yes. So who was the director? Well, as you can see from the IMDb, the director of this one is Kevin Greutert. Greutert? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I should have looked that up first. He did a really good job in this. He did The Strangers, or he edited The Strangers. Let's take a look at his directing credits here. James, Jackals, Visions, Jezebel, Saw 3D. Okay, so he did work with Saw before, and that'll become pertinent, I guess, later on during a post-credit scene. Yeah, there's one mid-credit scene here. But he's done a lot of other work in other departments, editor, producer, writer. So that's good. So he's familiar with the horror genre, and I think that experience does pay off on the screen. And I like, as I said, I really like that emotional angle to it. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about this. It's been certified fresh as of Friday around 11 a.m. in the morning here. 85%, 61 reviews. So that's good. Yeah, and even like the lower end actors, like that don't have a lot of screen time, when they're in the traps and you see the panic on their face, like there was a couple times where I'm just like in my seat, just going, oh God, what? Oh, they're actually showing that. Yeesh. It's like wow. Yeah. There's one, oh God. Yeah, some of the traps and the way that the traps unfold, like, are cool. And there's Shawnee Smith. Yeah, like, well, how does she show up all of a sudden with the pig mask and stuff? Like, well, whatever. Little nuanced things like that about the story. I could see some people nitpick, but it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't mar the rest of the movie. It's just kind of like those are just token aspects of what a Saw movie is, and you expect those, and they give it to you. So let's look at some of the snapshot reviews. The New York Times says, this is the most well-groomed Saw movie to date. The story mostly makes sense, and Greutert pulls back on the frenetic editing techniques. Yeah, it's not all flashy, zooming in and out and stuff like that. There's wide-angle shots of stuff going on. The frenetic editing style that made the older movies look like the blood and guts equivalent of white noise. Yeah, it's not like that. And it was refreshing to see that kind of style come in. RogerEbert.com says, Saw X solves a lot of problems of other films in this franchise by limiting its scope, eliminating some, but not all of the incoherent plotting, and coming up with a few ingenious traps. Yeah. Oh, Perry. I trust Perry. Perry Nemiroff. She loves genre fare, and I always respect her opinions. A top-tier Saw film. A well-crafted John Kramer-focused story with a heavy emphasis on his mentor-protege connection with Amanda. That, too. There's kind of like a master-apprentice kind of thing there going on. Okay, I said before that if you didn't need to watch the other ones to understand what's going on in this movie, you don't need to. But if you do know the rest of the lore and like understand that Amanda was his apprentice, basically, there's a couple of scenes in there that really pay off knowing some of that backstory, right? Okay, so with heavy emphasis on his mentor protege connection with Amanda that strikes the ideal balance between standing on its own 2 feet and enhancing franchise mythology. Yeah. Perry, that's good. Let's take a look at people who didn't like it. The Guardian. It might be somewhat better than the lowest lows of the franchise, but there's really nothing here to justify why we're being dragged back to the horrors of the 2000s. We've seen enough. No. So he just wasn't paying attention to what the entire first act, that the entire setup of the movie. Did you go out for popcorn and not come back in until like the last half, where it does get into the traps and stuff? And I like how the traps are not all set up in this location over here and this location over there. They do it very differently. If you saw Jigsaw, the previous one, it's a little bit like that, maybe, in terms of traps. I'm trying to find somebody else who didn't like it. Mark reviews movie says inevitably the movie falls into some of the same unpleasant hole as its predecessors. That's kind of vague. Anybody else of note that didn't like it? Yeah, as you can see, most people did. It starts differently, but it falls apart after an hour. So then you didn't pay attention. You just weren't paying attention. You didn't care. You thought it was something different. Matt Donato is somebody we respect too. The best thing the Saw franchise could do is step away from its tangled present-day continuity. Thankfully, this is what Saw X does. Yeah, you had to reinvent the wheel. You couldn't just come out with another Saw movie with just a different group of people going through the traps, learning their lessons about how they shouldn't have, shoplifted some candy when they were 5 years old. You can't do that again. You got to change it up, and Saw 10 definitely changes it up. So the 85% on the tomato meter is going to be interesting to see if that holds. I'm guessing that it's going to probably level out somewhere in the 70s when everybody else gets their reviews in. I'm just refreshing it there. And it's going to be curious to see what the audience score is. I'm hoping that most people will come out like me, surprisingly shocked that I want to see more Saw movies just like this. And they can. If they use that prequel kind of formula of weaving in between the normal storyline of how the Saw movies unfolded. And I think they will, because there is that post-credit scene, guys. Now, it's not right at the end of the credits. It's mid-credits. You don't need to wait till the final black screen. There's just that mid-credit scene. So you see that one, and then you'll be done. But yeah, visually, it's good. It's well shot. It does have some twists and turns in there that would be like, oh, I wasn't expecting. Like, I get the gist of the story, but there's a few elements that'll be like, oh, okay, so that's how they're doing it. I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, some of the traps is he trying to create a Cenobite here? What's going on with how gruesome some of it gets? And yeah, you end up Tobin Bell, fantastic work, man. Fantastic. So let me round out the rest of my ranking here. And do I agree with the 85%? It's gotta be close, man. It's gonna be close. Cinematography, serviceable, and actually, I think I will give cinematography the full point. Yeah, I'll give the cinematography a full point. And the score is serviceable. They do weave in the classic Saw music that you will want to hear, and it's put in perfectly. Let me come back to that one. Let me deal with the watchability factor. You want to watch it at least once. So that there's the 1 point for watching it once. Do you want to own it? If you're a fan of the franchise, then you're going to want to own it on Blu-ray, and you would give it a full 2 points here. But this is something that I would not be opposed to watching again. And if it were on Netflix, well, I would say let's watch this again as a group watch. So I would give that an 8 out of 10. Saw 10 is an 8 out of 10. Could I give the score a 0.5 more? Possibly. To get it to the tomato meter thing, but no, I'm comfortable with that. Because there's things in there, as I said, the nuances here and there could be tweaked to be refined, but the bad guy in this, wow, she does a fantastic job, and I do want to see more from her. 8 out of 10 for Saw 10. That's the way I feel about it, guys. I really enjoyed it. I recommend that you go out and see it. What else is opening up this weekend? Well, The Creator is opening up. I'm seeing that later this afternoon, so my review will be up on the channel. If you're watching this video now, I'll leave a link to the Creator review up in the cards. If you like this kind of stuff, guys, come join us. We do movie news live on YouTube at least 2 or 3 times a week around 10:30 a.m. There are all my other social media handles. You get to see stories on TikTok and Instagram of me like going into the movie theater and stuff like that. Some behind the scenes stuff. But if you like these reviews, we do full movie watch alongs. We watch series like Survivor. We watch trailer reactions. Movies like The Black Hole. No One Will Save You, an alien invasion movie. We're watching Ahsoka right now. Suspect X is on Netflix. We watched that. My review for It Lives Inside is up on the channel right now. Go check that one out. And of course, as I said, we do movie news here. So if movies are your bag and you like horror stuff, I don't shy away from most genres. Paw Patrol, maybe. Kids movie, maybe. But there's even room for that when we do Grumpy Man Reacts. All right, guys, Saw 10. It's a recommendation in my books. It was a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. 8 out of 10 is my score. I'll see you next time. You're watching Mirror Domains. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's turn on the chat comments and see what people are saying in the chat. Well, not the Twitch chat, James. The YouTube chat. Arglass Viking says, fair review for a Saw movie. Cool, it exceeds expectations. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed it when I was starting to go like, ugh. Wait a minute. I'm enjoying this movie. And as I said, a lot of that has to do with Tobin Bell, the way that he plays the character. I wanted to address something here. They don't go with the de-aging thing. You thought maybe for Shawnee Smith and Tobin that they would try to de-age them to try to fit the timeline. Don't worry about that. You don't need to. See, producers, you don't always have to do de-aging just because it's a prequel thing. And I think they've tried to massage that a little bit too with Anakin Hayden Christensen in the Ahsoka series. He's not always de-aged. You can see some of the lines here on his face. That's fine. You don't have to, because it's the story that should enthrall you. And Saw 10's story, it does grip you and make you go, wow. And there's aspects about John Kramer's character that, yeah, you know he's meticulous. You know he likes to plan things out. And they use it in ways where it's like, oh, of course he would know how to use a map. He wants to go pay his respects to earlier in the film, and he uses some of those abilities, like his perceptiveness and his ability to, diagnose facts and stuff, to figure things out. And you're like, cool. So he those powers are not always meant to be used for evil. And I respected it. I thought it was good. And I hope they continue that. Producers have said, if this one works out, it's possible that we'll get a Saw 11. All right, let's get back into the movie news proper. Yeah. Taika Waititi was set to direct a Star Wars movie, and then was what Iger came out and said that no, that's not happening anymore. People were running with the story that Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie was done. James Mangold Star Wars was done. Iger said that they were canceled according to the reports. I didn't see those reports, but the report that Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie is dead, well, apparently maybe not. Now, apparently he hasn't had a script done yet for it. I can believe that. I'm sure it's going to be pushed for a long while. I don't know what's going on with the Star Wars movies. There should be one out this year. I don't know what's happening. If out of all the ones that would get canceled, I thought maybe the Rey movie would get canceled. Obviously, the Heir to the Empire movie is going to be coming, and from Dave Filoni, that'll tie up the Ahsoka Mandalorian storylines, and I'm looking forward to that one. But despite reports claiming it may have been scrapped, it sounds like Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie is still in the works. Yeah, from insider Jeff Snyder said rumors. It was only rumors that they were all canceled. I have no doubt that some of them probably are. We just haven't learned about it yet. But I definitely checked in on that, Snyder stated. A draft is expected. It's not dead. Yeah. Last July, Waititi said he hadn't been working much on the film as of yet, because Kathleen Kennedy also revealed it earlier this year that the director is sole writer of the project. And Taika's got a lot on his plate. We know that. And I heard that he just wanted to take some time off and enjoy life. That's fine. The most recent mention of the film came from Waititi joking about how long it's taken to finish the script. So, according to one insider source, no, his movie's still on the go. Guys, he's a talented filmmaker, no doubt about that. The one that didn't really land for a lot of people was Thor: Love and Thunder, because he pushed it a little too much, but he's got a different style. He's got that style. He shows you different things for sure. If he could be reined back a little bit in his sense of humor on the big projects, perhaps. Star Wars is the machine, so maybe he would have to have some restraints put on him for that. But yeah, that's not. I would go with this report that it isn't dead just yet until we actually get Iger come down himself. I wouldn't trust anything that comes out of Kathleen Kennedy's mouth because she's promised so much in the past. But I would trust more from Iger, even though Iger, he himself, is no saint when it comes to this kind of stuff. James Gunn. We talked about this yesterday when we were watching Survivor. It was noted that James Gunn confirms 3 DCU actors who will continue their roles in the new DCU going forward. And people have used this story to spin it around, saying, "Well, what happens with Aquaman? I thought he was going to stay in. I thought Gal Gadot was going to stay in." And we'll talk about Gal in just a few minutes. And the people are saying, well, he shouldn't have announced this right before Aquaman 2 because now you just killed Aquaman 2. And people will be like, I don't need to see it anymore if Aquaman's not going to continue on. I agree sort of with that. James Gunn should have left this announcement till after Aquaman 2 comes out because people do spin it in different directions just to get those clicks. James Gunn confirms 3 DC actors that are still working. So, John Cena as Peacemaker will continue on, which is going to confuse a lot of people because, well, then shouldn't Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn still continue on? And that version of the Joker? And if they're there, then shouldn't Ben Affleck's Batman still be there? If Peacemaker's there, then I don't know. I never watched the Peacemaker series, so I don't know how tied it is to the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn had put out, which I still think is the best Suicide Squad movie. Yeah, we thought because he's friends with John Cena, he produced the Suicide Squad, he would give more leniency to that. And because it's Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, showed up in the Suicide Squad, she also is going to be one of the characters moving forward. So you got Cena and Amanda Waller. Okay, that makes sense. But then where's Harley Quinn, right? Everybody loves Margot Robbie. even though that a lot of people didn't really like emancipation of Harley Quinn, they still liked her in the Suicide Squad, and they still like her as the character. Why can't she move forward? Well, he's only said 3 of them right now. It doesn't mean that later on he can't change his mind and say, well, okay, yeah, we'll do another one with Harley. And you heard him say that he really liked working with Margot Robbie on Suicide Squad. So that's the one that I'm holding out for. Not so much with Aquaman and Gal Gadot, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. And the third one that gets carried over um, will be Cholo from Blue Beetle, because it wasn't really tied to the Snyderverse, right? Um, and I have seen my share of other pundits out there, and trying to twist this and spin this into kind of like, ooh, James, you're ruining your own universe. You don't know what you're doing. Um, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman future back in flux. Like, you'll get like this after James Gunn's latest DC comments. Guys, you know how much I feel about Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She's my favorite. It's one of the few posters that I have on my wall is Wonder Woman, because she was perfect as that role, and I think it sucks that if she's had her cameos pop up in things, and I just wish that Gunn had come out and said that Snyder versus Elseworlds, somewhere along the lines, these characters can show up again in like Crisis of Infinite Earths movie storylines, and most people would be happy with that, right? Most people would be fine. People will want to try to run with this and be like, well, then why aren't you bringing back Henry Cavill and stuff like that? Yeah, it's frustrating, but we're moving forward with a new DCU, with Batman, with a new Batman and new Superman, and I think eventually a new Wonder Woman and new Aquaman. I think that's the way it's going. They kind of have to. Does it bother me that we're still getting Amanda Waller and John Cena? Not really. I like John Cena in that role, at least in the movie. I haven't watched the series. And Amanda Waller is Viola Davis. Top tier talent. She commands the screen when she's on there. Yeah, why would you turn her away? But you could say that the same thing about Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, James. Well, maybe not Gal Gadot, but and actually even Henry too. Have we seen Henry stretch himself as an actor to show emotion range? I don't know. Have we? Cholo as Blue Beetle. I don't think we'll get any more Blue Beetle movies, but I'm fine with that. I had fun with the Blue Beetle movie. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that story formally here on the main show, and just address it. All right, opening up this week, guys. Opening up this week. Of course, we know. We already have Saw 10, and we have The Creator. Now, I just did my review for Saw 10. It's up on the channel right now. I liked the movie. I liked it a lot. It is certified fresh on the tomato meter as of 11 a.m. on Friday morning. I want to reload this because probably around noon we'll get some audience score ratings in. Oh, it dropped a little bit, or 84%. Yeah, I think it'll level out somewhere in the 70s, high 70s maybe, when we get up to like 100 reviews. But it's good. This one doesn't disappoint. It's a different story. You just saw my review on this one, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. But The Creator also opens up. Gareth Edwards' sci-fi thriller about AI technology, warring with AI. 68% by critics. So that's dropped off a lot. On Monday, wasn't it in like 85 or something? 179 reviews. So yeah, when Saw 10 gets up to like 170 plus or reviews, it'll come down a little bit. But I'm shocked. The word of mouth of The Creator was, you got to check this out. 2 hours and 13 minutes. I'm seeing this later on today at 1:15 p.m. today, guys. At 1:15 p.m. I'm going out to see this. So there will be no afternoon Twitch stream for a game because I got to go watch The Creator with my big bag of popcorn, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Gareth Edwards, I hear good things visually. This movie is supposed to be stunning, so um, yeah, the AI create this human child to be like a weapon against humanity or something. You get a mix between Children of Men, uh, Man on Fire kind of thing, where he's supposed to assassinate the weapon, but then he finds out it's a child, so he starts to protect it. I don't know how it all unfolds, but visually, the trailers have been absolutely stunning. I'm looking forward to it. So pay attention to the channel later on this afternoon for my straight out of the theater reaction for The Creator. What are some of the snapshot reviews? We'll just look at two, but I'll save some of them for my formal review. Irish Times says, though shallow in its philosophies, The Creator tells a crackling tale at breakneck speed among the most captivating environments. Somebody who didn't like it, Detroit News, The Creator winds up feeling like a sci-fi leftovers, warmed up from last night's dinner. I could see that because we've seen it in the trailers that, yeah, it does feel like the Children of Men. It feels like the Man on Fire. Oh, the kid, he can't kill the kid because it looks like the kid. I, you have to be able to look past that, guys. That's just the ruse, right? There's what's going on up there in the robot brain. Are we going to find out that it's not a robot brain? Maybe it's cyborg. That'd be interesting. But you can see there that, yeah, there's some familiar threads. It's all how it is executed. And in this, I trust Gareth Edwards to craft the story elements well enough to make me go, yeah. Because I do like his movie making. Gareth Edwards, of course, did Star Wars Rogue One, Monsters, and the first Godzilla movie. Monsters really put him on the map. It was like a smaller budget movie about monsters. People trying to go from the south of the map to the top of the map, and there's like this area quarantined off where they've trapped some of the monsters, and they got to go through that quarantine area where the monsters are. It's very low budget, and they do the best that they can with just conveying the hallmarks of that story of like people trying to get through this area. Scoot McNairy was in that, and Whitney Abel, Justin Hall, and yeah, that one was good. So I am looking forward to the creator this afternoon. But that's not the only thing opening up today, guys. That's not the only thing opening up. So you're going to have your choices of 3 new things opening up. Saw 10, The Creator, and Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. James, you just pronouncing this movie differently. What's going on? You've been saying The Creator, and then you've been saying Creator. We pronounce things a little bit differently here in Canada sometimes. So yeah, it depends on your dialect. Creator, Creator. I just, whatever context I am using it, if I want to really put a punch on it, I say Creator. If I just want to say the creator of this casually, then I'll use that pronunciation. But don't underestimate Paw Patrol, the mighty movie, because it is a kids' movie, and it is going to make an impact at the box office because it's a family-friendly movie. Now, on top of that, you also have Dumb Money opening up in a wider release. This is this was about what was this? Was this about the GameStop movie? Yeah, the GameStop where the people inflated the GameStop stock so that they can make money on it. I hear good things, but it's not priority for me. Don't expect that one to fare too well at the box office. As much as I am looking forward to the creator, as much as I am a sci-fi fan, guys, I love the weird abstract imagery of like the robot with the human faces and like ships, airships and stuff like that. I like all of that stuff. It's not poised well to fare at the box office with a big return. and not with a 68% by critics. It kind of sucks. So I think between Saw 10 and Paw Patrol, they will be fighting for the number one spot at the box office. This is last weekend's numbers. Expendables 4 didn't make number one, and Nun 2 held on to that. So Nun 2 had it for 3 weeks. It's time to relinquish the number one spot, which I think, good word of mouth, Saw 10 will be the number one, and it's going to be a close tie between that and Paw Patrol. Then I think it will be The Creator, because there's enough sci-fi fans out there to get the number 3 spot. And then Dumb Money, which did have a release last week, opens up wider this week with more theaters. Then Dumb Money will be number 4, and then I think Nun 2 will be the 5th spot. Expendables 4 is going to drop off the map. Let me look at the daily numbers this week and see what's been tracking. Expendables 4 was good on Tuesday. That's cheap Tuesday because you get half-price tickets, at least here in Canada. But Nun 2 has been retaining it for the most part. I wanted to take a look at Expendables. Worldwide, 15... Expendables 4 had a $100 million budget. It's going to be one of the more grotesque bombs of the year. It's going to come and go. Nobody's going to talk about it. So the embarrassment for Lionsgate can kind of be like, please don't draw attention to our failure, James. Okay, fine. Granted. We won't talk about Expendables 4 until Monday, once I use it again as my punching bag. Creation of the Gods, Kingdom of the Storms. That was also playing at my Galaxy, I think. I saw a listing for it. Yeah, Creation of the Gods, when I came out of Saw 10 yesterday. That's a Mandarin movie, huh? Fascinating. Ninja Wan is still playing. But Creator, Dumb Money, Paw Patrol, Saw 10. I think, guys, you've got your choices. If you're not into horror, then go see the sci-fi. If none of those are your bag and you want to take your kids out to see Paw Patrol, that's what's opening up this week. You know what the ratings for Saw 10 and Creator are. Pay attention to my channel for later on today for my straight out of the theater reaction for The Creator. Should be out around 4:30ish. I see it at 1:15. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. The Creator, 2 hours and 13 minutes. Well, plus trailers and stuff like that. Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. Who are you kidding, James? It's 2.5 hours. There's going to be like 17 minutes of credits and commercials. Of commercials and trailers. But that's okay. So 3:30ish? No, it'll be more like 5 o'clock by the time I come home. Yeah, expect that. Okay. Now, is that it for opening up this week? Yeah. Opening up next week will be Jason Blum's Exorcist the Believer. Exorcist the Believer. But Jason Blum admits he's scared to death of competing with Taylor Swift at the box office. Yeah, originally The Believer was supposed to come out October 13 with Taylor Swift's Eras movie. But because the Eras movie, Taylor Swift's Eras movie, sold out all of its tickets in the States really early, Jason Blum moved The Exorcist Believer a week ahead. Now, the problem is that it has to deliver. Exorcist Believer, which I will go see, has to deliver because it's going to run into Saw 10, which is going to, I think, have a big word of mouth. People are going to be coming out of it and going, wow, guys, for a Saw movie, I was shocked. Exorcist Believer has to deliver. And if people come out of it and are like, Uh, that's not what I was expecting from an Exorcist movie. In fact, it wasn't even all that good. And it's running that peril because of the director, who is David Gordon Green, who was responsible for Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills. Evil Dies Tonight. Oh, forgive me. I haven't been wowed by the trailers for Exorcist. I'll watch it because I do like horror. You guys know I'm a genre fan. I just, guys, that's the only thing really opening up next week. So they'll have that. But when you're opening up against the slate of Paw Patrol, will still be going big because it's the only kids-friendly movie. The creator, I think, hopefully will have some staying power when people go out and see and say, okay, guys, that's interesting. But Saw 10 it's in the same wheelhouse of horror. And Saw 10 is also a well-established franchise. Exorcist will have its draw. Exorcist will, because people will want to see how it's tied into the previous Exorcist movies. They will. Argyle says if the creator bombs, it will leave a crater. What trailers featured at the Saw X movie, James? Anything worthwhile on the horizon? Yeah, I do want to talk about that, actually. There wasn't a trailer for Exorcist Believer on Saw 10, at least my copy. Now, James, the theater, whoever runs that theater has the responsibility of putting their own trailers on it. So it's kind of like that. I'll tell you this, though, and this caught me by surprise, and I do want to address it. They did play the latest trailer for the Marvels on the big screen. And while I wasn't wowed by the Marvels trailer on the small screen on your phone, it actually did play pretty decently on the big screen. And I was kind of like, maybe this movie does have hope. Maybe it does, the Marvels. I'm going to be watching Miss Marvel, because I haven't watched Miss Marvel, who does show up in the Marvels movie, before the Marvels comes out November 10th. So the weeks leading up to that, we'll be watching the Miss Marvel here on Mirror Domains as Grumpy Man Reacts episodes, because it's kind of like, guys, why am I watching a movie about a teenage girl? Or why am I watching a series about that? It just doesn't sit right. But anyway, yeah, that played well. So what do you guys think? Yeah, he's scared to death. Did he have a quote here, Jason Blum, about The Exorcist? The one thing that scares me to death is Taylor Swift, and she's a big draw. She's getting people out to register to vote. She's getting people to buy tickets out at her concerts, like sold out all the way up in the nosebleeds. A guy who has to sit with half of the support beam in his face seat gets sold out. Yeah. Exorcist is going to have its challenge. I don't expect it to perform all that well. And Exorcist Believer was supposed to start a trilogy. Taylor Swift effect is very real, and it's now taking over the sports world too. She's got the clout. Yeah, she went to that football game last week. This has been splashed not only on our big trades, our movie news trades like Hollywood Reporter. It's on CNN. It's on normal news sites as well. So Taylor Swift does command audiences' attentions no matter what she's doing. And I'm a Swiftie, so I have absolutely no problems with this. Thumbs up for Taylor. Tay-Tay. Yes, there you go. All right. Killers of the Flower Moon? No. Let's adjust that quickly, James. Killers of the Flower Moon. This is a Martin Scorsese movie that's supposed to be like 3.5 hours, pushing 4 hours coming out. I like the last trailer. Martin Scorsese's latest opus is tracking towards a $24 million opening. Really? It's supposed to be like limited theatrical release with a Netflix release, right? It's going to be opening October 20th, but it's tracking for a $24 million opening. Okay. It appeals to men and women over 25, likely to diaper up for a 3-hour plus drama. It looks like it's going to be a hard-hitting film. Basically, it's about Caucasian people coming to the Osage County area and ripping off Native Americans of their land to drill for oil, right? And then there's some killing and there's some brutality that goes on. I'm going to watch it. I would prefer to watch it with you guys on Netflix first, but it's opening in theaters first, so I'll be going to the theater to see it because it's Scorsese, it's DiCaprio, it's Robert De Niro. You hear that Lily Gladstone is her name, is a great performance. So tracking for a $25 million opening. Good. Oh, sorry. It'll debut on Apple TV Plus. Another case for me to sign up for Apple TV Plus, James. I think I will. Sometime in October, I think I'm signing up for Apple TV Plus. Just I can't keep on saying that I'm going to sign up for it. I got to eventually do it. $24 million opening for Killers of the Flower Moon. What do you think? Will it make that? I think it will. The runtime is going to hurt it. 3.5 hours. It will hurt it. This is the type of movie where when my straight out of the theater reaction comes out, I'll be like, okay, guys, here's my thoughts of the movie. Here's where you could go to the washroom if you need to. And I'm going to probably open with that. Really, 3.5 hours? You need every second of that 3.5 hours to tell the story? Really, Martin? I watched The Irishman. You didn't need the 4 hours to tell that story. You didn't. It was cool to see Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro on the screen together, but did you need that much time to do it? Scorsese's been a little bit grotesque with the amount of run time that he's been given for some of these projects. But it is what it is. Let's move on. Lord of the Flies remake from Luca Guadagnino. Now, guys, you know how I feel about Luca Guadagnino. I think he's a little overrated. James. Because people came out and said Bones and All is one of the best horror movies of last year. You got to go check it out. And indeed, it does have some grotesque subject matter in it, like they're cannibals. Talking about Lord of the Flies. He does traffic in that kind of subject matter. There was an execution of the story that I didn't really like. It was like a love story. I'm talking about Bones and All. There was like a love story, but you're supposed to be rooting for her. She eats people. What are you doing? It was like that kind of thing, right? It was supposed to be, but James, it was an allegory. It was supposed to be like Romeo and Juliet, and it's not that they're eating people. It's supposed to be about their desires to live a free life. It's like, for God, no, stop. Anyway, I'm not as, he's a little bit like Nicholas Winding Refn to me. I agree that he's got an artistic style and flair for his movies. Not all of them land for me. There. But I am interested in Lord of the Flies. I think we've all read Lord of the Flies in high school, right? It was mandatory reading. I like the story. And I like, how society crumbles when the rule of law is not there anymore, right? And I like how it was an examination of that on an island with young men and how they were trying to establish rule of law with the conch. And we got to listen to how one person has an idea to get food and stuff like that. And I like how it all fell apart in the end. And I like the contrast of that with the ending of like, what are you boys doing? Yeah, anyway, I like the Lord of the Flies story. So, Luca Guadagnino's Lord of the Flies will leave heavily on the psychological horror. So, when the main boy takes the ash and goes, "It's on" or whatever. I'm guessing the torture scenes will be a lot more brutal. It leans so much into psychological horror, and it's so rich in character drama as you would expect from somebody like Juan Dagnino. It's scary. It gives you so much unease reading it, and it taps into more current version of it than we've seen before. So it'll be a telling of it in current times. I think people have tried to tackle that property in a way that doesn't really resonate till now. Yeah, some people, there was a version of it where they were trying to do only like a female version of Lord of the Flies. And I haven't is yeah, is that what he's doing? No, that's not this one. And I think that the whole approach has been very fresh and refreshing. Ooh, that's not good. Chaos Walking Scribe. Patrick Ness is writing the screenplay. Chaos Walking was that movie with Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland that was stuck in production hell because the story sucked. The story was not good, and they were just having trouble adapting it to the screen because it just wasn't working. Uh, the story has inspired numerous films like Yellow Jackets and Lady World. Yeah, Yellow Jackets, the series, was a little bit like that. Girls plane crash in the wilderness, and that's what I saw from the first episode, right? And then they end up eating each other or something. Cannibalism, and then they try to conceal that cannibalism back in the real world. I don't know. That's what I thought. Yellow Jackets was about. I never saw it, so I never saw beyond the first episode. But what do you guys think? Juan Dagnino taking on Lord of the Flies, very psychological horror. Fascinating. Let's talk about some Netflix stories. This one caught my eye. Netflix sued by Evil Genius Games over canceled Rebel Moon game. Yes, Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon comes out this December, and we will be watching it here on the channel Mirror Domains. They're being sued for this game. I guess they had been tapped to develop a game, but it was canceled. Wrongfully terminating Evil Genius's contract to create a tabletop role-playing game. Oh, talking about, yeah, on the trailers for Saw 10, there was a trailer for like a Twitch stream of a tabletop role-playing event. And I was like, what the heck is this? I don't know. I can't even remember what the name of it was. But yeah, I guess there was going to be a tabletop role-playing game of this, and they canceled it. Well, if you signed a contract and then they come back and cancel, then yeah, of course, then I think you would be in good cause to sue. Our aim is to ensure our team is recognized for their fantastic work and we can release a game for millions. It's disheartening to see Netflix backpedal on content that was jointly showcased and had received their prior consent. We urge our supporters to contact Netflix and Zack Snyder to push for the game's early release later this year. Yeah, that's not good business. That's bad business. That leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. We'll see how that unfolds. Also on Netflix, we started our Tomb Raider playthrough for Rise of the Tomb Raider on Twitch yesterday, and we at the beginning of that we watched the trailer for Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, a series, an animated series on Netflix, and it looks slick. It does. This is just a teaser, so it doesn't show that much. But actually, after playing the first chapter or so of Rise of the Tomb Raider, like look, see how there's like glyphs on the wall and stuff. So it looks like, yeah, that has to be Jonah there, right? And that's I think Roth from the first game, from the very first rebooted game. But I do like Lara Croft, and I'm digging this vibe. The animation of it looks great. A Netflix series, uh, Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. Um, we may be doing watch-alongs for this September, sometime in 2024. No actual confirmed release date, but that's good news. And we knew that this was eventually coming down the works. We knew that they were going to do an animated one. They were supposed to do Tomb Raider 2 with Alicia Vikander as well, but they're rebooting all of that. So we'll have to wait and see for the live action stuff. We'll have to wait and see. Um, but yeah, the teaser, I like this style. It's kind of like that He-Man reboot, the Revelation one that most people didn't like. That kind of animation style. Looks slick. So, but as I said, we have started our full live playthroughs for Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider over on Twitch. So go and follow that over on Twitch and come along and enjoy us, because we play on top of that, guys. On Twitch, we play World of Warcraft. We play Street Fighter 6. We did the Final Fantasy 7 remake recently, so that was a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to getting into a lot more of the Tomb Raider games. Okay, let's get on to some hit or miss. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Aziza in the live chat says, great reviews. Thank you. Well, thank you. Always champion people in the live chat because we like to build the community here. We got a great group of people here that bounce in and out. Our Glass Vikings have been here forever, and it's been awesome. All right. Snow White, Rachel Zegler has been fired or replaced? No, she's still in the movie, guys. The movie's in the can. So if she's been fired or replaced, they would have to go back and reshoot. And I haven't heard anything about it being reshot. Because she's come out and saying that nobody likes Snow White. Nobody wants to see a movie where a girl gets saved by a prince. And it's like, for God's sakes, girl. Yeah. PR has not been, it's been a nightmare for this movie. But I am looking forward to the live action Snow White because I want to see Gal Gadot play the evil queen. I do. Paddington 3 wraps up in 2 weeks and Rachel Zegler has been recast due to strikes. Oh, was she supposed to be in Paddington 3? Oh yeah, they on Saw 10 they did show the trailer for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm actually looking forward to that one too. Peter Dinklage, for mostly Peter Dinklage. Next, Sandman Part 2 filming progress gets hopeful update. Yeah, I was late to the party for the Sandman Season 1. I think I didn't watch it until like a month and a half after it was out, and I really liked it. It felt like 2 seasons though, because after episode 5 it turned into something different, and I preferred the later part of the season. And I like the morality. Hey, you're like a god, you can do things, why can't you help people? I like that morality of it. The first part of him just trying to get back his powers, meh. And that diner episode was a complete throwaway. I'm shocked when people say that the diner episode was my favorite episode, but I like the aesthetic of it. Yeah, so Sandman Part 2, back on track. That's good. It was definitely different. It was like, you haven't seen that before. Yeah, you haven't seen anything like that before. I appreciated that. Picard! Patrick Stewart is pushing Paramount to make a Picard movie. So it wouldn't be a Next Generation movie, it would just be a Picard movie. I don't know, guys. I really liked Picard Season 3. And it's a shame that you can't do anything from Paramount, like reactions and stuff, because they'll block it. You use a little bit of imagery and they'll be like, nope, blocked. Careful, I'm going to strike you. I'll give you a strike. It's like for Paramount. Paramount and Universal are very, very awful for it. Uh, but the Picard movie, I don't know. Season 3 of Picard wrapped up so well for us Next Generation fans. It was satisfying. It was like, thank you for putting this together. We never would have imagined in a million years we would see the Next Generation cast back on the old Enterprise as the older characters, older versions of the characters. Thank you. Uh, and the danger of putting out a movie now would be undoing all of that. But James, you still have that. You still got the nice little wrap up in the series. A movie's just a movie. It's just, where else could you go with the character? What else can you do now? You got your farewell. I would watch it, of course, because I like Picard as a character, but I'm gently pushing Paramount to let us do one single Picard movie, Patrick Stewart said. Not a Next Generation movie, as we've already done 4 of those. This would be an expansion and deepening of the universe as we've seen it in Star Trek Picard. I've discussed this with Frakes and Spinner and Burton, and they were all game. Well, as long as you have the other characters show up, Jonathan is my first choice to direct. Foist? It's my choice to direct. Yeah, hey guys. I don't think that'll happen. And actually, if you follow any of the news about the first season of Picard, that didn't land all that well with people because Patrick Stewart had a lot of creative control on it. And one of his mandates was that it could not feel anything like Next Generation. Don't bring back any of the other cast because this has to be all a different type of thing. But then once he came back and he let go of that, and we got season 3 of Picard, he realized that, yeah, those are my friends. Well, I'm having fun here. Why didn't we do this earlier? So I hope he keeps that mentality of like, it's okay to use some of the lore and stuff that was established in Next Generation. I just don't know where the story goes. You can't go back to Q. You can't go back to like another threat trying to take over the Federation. Do you just do like an old man Picard story of him trying to settle back into his life again? Would that resonate? Maybe. I don't know. All right, that's enough. Move on. What's next? Azrael, Samara Weaving action horror film lands North American distribution. Well, I do like Samara Weaving. What is this about? Azrael. Okay. She plays the title character. Well, no kidding. Give me the synopsis. In a world in which no one speaks, a devout female-led community hunts down a young woman, played by Weaving, who has escaped her imprisonment. Recaptured by its ruthless leaders, Azrael is to be sacrificed to pacify an ancient evil that resides deep within the surrounding wilderness. Yet she will stop at nothing to ensure her own freedom and survival. From the seeds of this gritty, relentless parable of sacrifice and salvation comes an immersive, real-time action horror tale. Well, that sounds interesting. Yeah, and there's our image from it. So she's trying to run away and self-preservation kind of thing to not be part of a sacrifice. Sounds very Ari Aster, doesn't it? With the cult kind of thing angle to it. Okay, so you got some distribution to it. That's good news. So will we get a release date? Will it be in theaters? If they got the distributor, I'll pay attention to that. Next, Nun 2 digital release. Well, that's still in theaters, guys. When is this coming out on 4K? October 3rd. What? Guys, it's still in theaters. What are you doing? Well, I guess it's done its run. It had 3 good weeks. It did. And I think those 3 weeks came as a surprise at the #1 spot. The Nun 2 will be available for purchase October 3rd on PVOD on Amazon Prime, Google Play, and Vudu. It will get its 4K release November 14th. Okay, so that's a little bit more reasonable. And have 2 featurettes, including Demons in Paradise and Handcrafted Nightmares. There's the 4K. I do want to watch this one with you guys. We did watch The Nun over on Twitch, which I still have to edit through and put up on YouTube. I need time to do that, though, guys. I just need time. Maybe I'll make that morning projects for... No, I like to just reserve the weekends, mornings, just for my time. But I don't know. I don't want to always constantly be working. I like The Nun 2. But I was fair in my score. I gave it a 5.5. I'll say 6 out of 10 for Nun 2. Go see it because of Taika Farmiga. Taika Farmiga, commanding screen presence. She's worthwhile seeing it. Is it scary? If you thought the Nun 1 wasn't scary, then yeah, Nun 2 isn't scary. Artglass says Rachel Zegler kind of poured cold water on fires of dreams and fantasy, also her career. Yeah. For the most part with Rachel Zegler, outside of the movie punditry and fandom, the casual movie fans, they're not aware of all these quotes and stuff that Rachel Zegler has been saying. So maybe the impact is minimal. But there are people out there that are getting up on their soapboxes and saying, she needs to be canceled, she needs to be removed, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, we'll see how it plays out. Late last night, NSYNC reunited for a new single, Better Place. I haven't listened to the track yet, guys. Yes, Timberlake came back to reunite with NSYNC. It's part of a new single that will be released of Trolls Band Together. Oh, is Trolls Band Together releasing next week as well? With Exorcist Believer? The 3rd Trolls installment? Okay. Have you listened to the new NSYNC? I'm not an NSYNC fan, so I didn't really care. Again, what's with the double-breasted jackets, guys? They're making a comeback, aren't they? Fatone is one on there. These 2 guys have double-breasted. At least Bass has got he's got 3. That's a little. I heard that the 3 buttons is what 2000s or something style. I don't know. Whatever. I don't really care. I'm curious because there on Fatone, the double-breasted makes them just look too big. Like here, yeah, this is why it was invented, to conceal the gut. But whatever. Double-breasted. Making a comeback. What do you think? All right. That's all I got for the cat. Sorry about the fashion. People tune into Mirror Domains to listen about fashion sense. I just because we watch like the red carpets and stuff, and if I see it happening, it's happening. I personally don't own a double-breasted jacket, but hey, whatever. Josh O'Connor, Luga Guadagnino. Emily in Paris is going to begin soon filming season 4. You guys watch that on Netflix? Jessie Buckley. I am a huge Jessie Buckley fan. Give that the old heart. Yeah, and she was in a trailer recently for something. I forgot what that trailer was for. First episode of Gen V is now on Prime. I don't watch that superhero show that's a spinoff of The Boys or whatever. I don't watch that. Mostly because the main actor has been accused of some inappropriate behavior. The lead actor who plays, Homelander or something. Yeah. Netflix has mailed out its last DVD. Feature film based on the Titan submersible. No, guys. Incident is in the works. That submersible that got that imploded and crushed all of those billionaires or whatever. You're making a movie about that now. It will cover periods during and after the 5-day tragedy. Guys, that just make it a documentary, not an entertainment piece. Don't make it a dramatization, because that would lack class, I think. It's too early for me. It feels a bit too early, because that was yeah. Happy birthday to whoever that guy is. I don't know who he is, so we'll move on. 23rd for okay. We're just seeing if there's anything trending here that jumps off the page. Red Band trailer for Down Low starring Lucas Gage and Zachary Quinto. Trailer for Nothing Except Everything starring Gotham's David Mazouz. The film premieres tomorrow on YouTube, so he made a YouTube movie. Is that Davey right there? Oh my God, he's really grown up. He doesn't even look like he did on Gotham. Wow. May December will have its premiere tomorrow at the New York Film Festival. Yeah, that one, my most shocking trailer reaction ever, at least in the last couple of years. When I found out what that movie was about, I had to pause the trailer. I was like, that's what the movie's about. Wow. James Gunn confirms that Freddie Stroma will return as Vigilante in DC. See, this is what we said before in the James Gunn story, guys. Just because he said that those three are coming back, it doesn't mean that he can't say that about other characters at any given time. So there, he just said that this guy playing Vigilante is going to be back. Blonde came out, game plan. Wes Anderson's The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is now certified on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, we did a full live watch along for that. That's up on the channel as well. I enjoyed it. It's a short film, guys. It's only like 35 minutes or so. It's worth watching. Cumberbatch is good, but just know that Ben Kingsley is about equal screen time, and he is also very good. And Ray Fiennes is like the narrator, and he does a really good job with that too. Reptile is on Netflix, but I heard that Reptile sucks. That's what I heard. Is that out today? I would watch it because of Del Toro. And Timberlake is like the main character, Justin Timberlake. And I would watch it for Alicia Silverstone as well. Maybe I'll do that on the weekend. A musical adaptation of 13 Going on 30 is in the works. Killers of the Flower Moon headline, 24 million. Barry Keoghan, Saltburn, November 17th. All right, big mouth. Yeah. Guys, we're running a little bit overtime today, but that's fine. I'll cut out the Saw review and put that up on the channel as quickly as I can. You're watching Mirror Domains, guys. Go and watch The Creator or Saw 10. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back Monday for more movie news headlines. And come join us on Twitch, because that's where we primarily stream on the weekend. On Sunday, we'll continue our painting of this Sunday stream. And guys, I'm aware of Twitch. If I stream on Twitch, I turn the camera like so you guys can watch it like this. It makes it vertical for some reason. So I will stream vertically painting this. We'll continue with working on the lower portions of this on the on Sunday's Twitch stream during football. Looking forward to that. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.